Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
We struggled as to strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Thank you, everyone, for staying with us here on Global Television. I am Muyi Agmofwebe, especially welcome you to Global Morning. It's a great Monday, no doubt about that. First working day of the week. My assumption is you had a great weekend, or whether you call it great or not, hopefully you made the most of it, because it's that opportunity we have to unwind and do a few things away from work, refresh, refuel, and then come back to work fresh, all pumped up and bubbling on a Monday morning such as this. I hope you put your day on a good footing by the decisions you make, the plan and the strategies you put in place. I mean, mine is already on the path of adding value already, and my colleague, Jumai Manson, who is also around the corner, you see her very soon, is going to be part of the team this morning. Together we'll get you meaningfully engaged, discussing topical issues and having to help you find sense in the noise. All right, again, thank you for joining us on the program today. Nigeria has evolved real fast in the last 48, 72 hours. Saturday was going to be a big day. Yes, was going to be a big day. But again, in this context, big appears to be relative, because it was supposed to be the mother of all protests, like some of the organizers had said. Others said it was going to be the climax of the 10-day protest. And then you had a group that referred to it as the grand finale, all right, of the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest. But whether any of this happened or not, perhaps is a different kettle of fish. But what we do know for a fact is that Saturday in Abuja in particular was a bit tranquil. Of course, a heavy security presence in strategic points across the country's capital. And of course, we also saw how that efforts had been made a day or two before that time by government, whether federal or state, to ensure that things didn't spiral out of control. Yes, we may have heard about pockets of violence here and there, but in all, we understand that officially speaking, that protest has ended, even though the issues that emanated from it are yet to be resolved. So it is a potpourri, as I say, of many elements that we are dealing with, and is the reason we're putting Global Morning in front of you today, just to help you find perspective and insights in this direction. But we also will talk about the economic and social issues that led to that protest in the first instance, and how that, as we come to find, some elements, some entities, some actors, whether state or non-state, had also make efforts to exploit the situation, all right, just to send a message or achieve some sinister objective or what have you. All right, so we're going to move away from that and talk about the oil and gas industry, what exactly is happening in this all-important sector. All right, look at the Dangote refinery element, how it has changed the equation, or if you like, it's continuing to change the equation right now. We understand marketers will have to wait a little longer than was previously scheduled because plans, I mean, things are not going as planned, and the Dangote refinery is just not yet producing as expected. Recall that all of these postponements started about a year ago. It was supposed to take off in July of 2023. Of course, former President Muhammadu Buhari had commissioned the facility in May of that year, just at the twilights of his administration. But it's 1 year and counting. Here we are. The issue has even assumed a worrisome and even political dimension in such a way that stakeholders, the very critical ones in the sector, are now becoming increasingly concerned about what it portends for not just the oil and gas sector in Nigeria, but across Africa. Because remember, this is a refinery that had been envisaged to be the biggest, the largest in Africa, which is, of course, the entire continent. We'll talk to you about all of this in the course of the program. Of course, as expected, we'll also bring you newspapers, big headlines from across our dailies today. But quickly, let's take a break, and when we return, the rest of the program will come your way. Do stay with us.
Is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumai Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and they repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out. Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here. In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
I want to go further to congratulate you on being on DSTV 365. Channel 365 is an awesome thing. Congratulations, and I will enjoy each and every one to keep on watching Global TV.
This is Global TV for your current affairs, for your current information, ideas, education, entertainment news at the best. Channel 365 on DSTV. You have just come alive into a new phenomenon in the media industry. Keep watching. Stay tuned.
Keep watching Global Television on DSTV channel 365 for your news and all national issues and international breaking news. Watch Global TV.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chong Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
Is that
We're grateful knowing that you are still with us on the program this morning. Jumai Manson has officially announced her presence on Global Morning.
Yes, I have. Good morning. I was like watching you when you were doing the introduction and all of that, and it, it made it. Where's my manners? Good morning to each and every one of you out there. It's great to be here on a beautiful Monday morning. And of course, back to you, Uyi. Like I said, I stood there and I was watching the introduction, and I just said to myself, really, that 1 million match that was supposed to happen it would have been the epic of all the protests, like 1 million people actually coming out to make their presence known, but
peacefully.
And Saturdays, everybody was wondering. I was wondering. The place was quiet at a point, and then later on, movements started happening. But like you said, there were checkpoints all over the place, which showed that, okay, the security agencies were ready at their peak in case it goes out of...
so they could check it.
They could quick check, because we don't want the situation that occurred during the protest, which was supposed to be protest, and some individuals lost their lives, which was really an unfortunate event, really.
It really was. But I also feel, given what we know today, the protest, as we know, is over. It's already 2 days behind us. But then the issues that even led to the protest in the first instance, we can't pretend about that. Must be, as a matter of urgent importance, be addressed. For example, there's been the issue of hunger. You can't continue to talk about policy to hungry people if it doesn't translate to food for them, because ultimately they are going to go back home. Do they have power? Do they have dinner? Do they have...
Talking about dinner, you didn't even talk about breakfast.
No, at least you have closed. You have survived the entire day. The madness is over, at least for that day. But now you're back home. So what happens? Because you have to keep a straight head the whole night so you can plan out the next day and all of that. So until we're able to address those bases, everything else we're doing is just seen as elitist. You say policy, this policy, that. Those policies must be translated. And that's why, you see, we can't have this conversation and not cycle back at some point for obvious reasons to the president's speech. Because going forward, the government has now been spotlighted, whether I like it or not, in such a way that whatever government does from this point on will be critically assessed to say, does it meet or does it respond to one of those reasons? There was the End Bad Governance protest and all of that. So if we're not able to address all of those issues, it means we're going back to where we're coming from exactly. Because I remember, I said this once or twice here before, first year in university, a lecturer told us that one of the things countries do by way of being able to break even, or as it were, raise their heads above the waters, is to conquer hunger. That any country you refer to as developed is a country that has conquered, amongst several other things, hunger. That any country that has not conquered hunger has not solved most of its fundamental problems.
Of course, hunger is the main thing. That's why people are all out in protest. Hunger is something, they said a hungry man is an angry man. Or yes, so someone who is hungry will definitely be angry, will act out of proportion. He cannot think. That is the stomach, according to your infrastructure we're talking about. So it's a very serious issue, really, hunger. in the land, famine in the land, unemployment. It comes, there's a little hierarchy, but the first is hunger. You know, when you talk about, you know, famine, all of these things, lack of food, healthcare, all of these, but hunger tops it all because you have to eat in order for you to be healthy. You have to eat in order for you to have strength.
Right.
You have to eat for you to get by. It's very, very important. And it's just unfortunate. But let us see how this whole thing plays out. So talking about the protest from day 1 to day 10, let us see whether some of the efforts of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will be checkmate, will be put in place for those in the authority to follow in order for there won't be a repeat of this particular protest again, really. For the fact that it is your right to protest. It is your fundamental human right. But at the same time, what are we trying to portray to international communities? We already tagged as Nigerians. They say a lot of things about Nigerians. They are corrupt. They don't want to, they just want to be in one spot. Other countries that are not as populated as ourselves are doing better in the forefront. They're doing very well when you talk about the 4-burner and all of that. But at the same time, as Nigerians, they were trying to explain to these individuals that come, there's more to being a Nigerian than the corruption that you see. We're talented individuals. We have beautiful culture here. We are individuals who are very intelligent, and we are making waves when you come to the international community. Right. We're not known for all of these things. So when these protests keep reoccurring, the harder you try to portray yourself as an individual who is not known, which is known for that particular negative vibe, it's very hard to portray the positive vibe. So I think we should do better. I think that's me now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we should please do the needful, because that 1 million march, the march, right? Looking at it, when Nigerians go out to say peaceful protest, we know that some miscreants will always want to go against that. So let us try as much as possible to do the needful and solve this whole issue as quick as possible, really.
All right, let's catch our breath for a second. I'm sure there's a food idea for us this morning, isn't there?
But you realize when I was talking, I moved my mouth.
I can imagine.
Of course, next is the segment Taste and Texture. And yes, really, I don't know why people keep asking, Uyi, Juma, you're not going to tell us what you're having, One day I will surprise. I do it, once when I'm like in a good mood to tell you that, okay, fine, prepare your mind, we're having this. But today, it's a Monday morning. I want to keep you in suspense. So up next is Taste and Texture. Just sit back, relax, and see what Anamen Chong Joseph has for us today. Stay tuned.
And welcome to Taste and Texture. Today, we're going to be learning how to make quick and easy vegan banana muffins. Banana muffins are an ideal use of overripe bananas and are great breakfast bites, snacks, and even desserts. Easy to make with simple ingredients, these moist vegan banana muffins are also a nice base for fruit, nuts, and even chocolate chips. Mix and match your favorite add-ons to make your version using this recipe. Eat these muffins warm with vegan butter and fruits for breakfast, nut butter for a protein-packed snack, or a scoop of vegan ice cream for a simple and delicious dessert. Vegan baking yields equally flavorful items without milk, butter, or eggs, and a few simple tricks can help you convert any traditional baked good into a delicious vegan version. These muffins are no exceptions and don't even require egg replacers. This simple recipe is great for teaching new babies as it comes together in one bowl and it's easy to bake with little cleanup. For the ingredients, you need your very ripe bananas, oil or softened vegan margarine, organic granulated sugar, all-purpose flour, salt, baking soda, chopped walnuts, entirely optional. You need your sugar or any steps in making your muffins. First of all, you need to bring all the ingredients together. You preheat the oven and prepare your muffin tin either with liners or by lightly greasing. In a large bowl, mash your very ripe bananas with a fork until soft. Add oil or vegan margarine and a cup of granulated sugar. Mix until creamy. In a separate bowl, combine the all-purpose flour, salt, and baking soda until well mixed. Add the flour mixture to the banana mixture Stir gently to combine. Don't overmix. The batter will be thick. If the batter is too dry and not malleable, mash the remaining banana and mix it in. If using, gently fold in chopped walnuts. Alternatively, you can sprinkle them on top of each muffin before baking. Carefully spoon the batter into the muffin tin, filling each well almost full. If desired, sprinkle the organic sugar on top just before baking. Bake the muffins for about 25 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean when inserted in the center of a muffin. Let cool for a few minutes and enjoy while still warm. And you can also enjoy this muffin with either a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, your custard, or whatever you desire to enjoy this for your nice breakfast. Thank you, and that's that for Taste and Texture today. Bye!
You're welcome back from that very delicious segment. I have been laughing behind cameras because someone like Uyi, giving him muffins, organic muffins, the Edo man that he is, Uyi, would you kindly eat that in the morning and be happy?
We'll be watching you one eye first and be thinking that's the pilot one. So the rest of the entourage with passengers, all right, on their way coming, because I don't know what you want me to achieve with that. But then, like I said a while ago, I like the fact that it just gives you this opportunity to try something different from what we traditionally know as African. But again, it shows that Anamel does not belong here.
Animal does not belong here. But seriously, we should try something different. It has to do with bananas, flowers, and it's organic, it's healthy. You can actually have that with your tea, beverage, whatever it is, fine. But someone like the Edoman like we is, no, he's like he said, he'll be looking at me with one eye. All right, so that's all about the segments of Taste and Texture. Right, we.
All right, great. So we have a couple of things we need to talk about with you on the program this morning, including bringing you big headlines from across our national dailies. It's Monday, so you can imagine how full up the front pages of newspapers I thought it would be like. So Jumai, myself, and guests will walk you through the insights and all of the perspectives from those big headlines on the program this morning. We understand Anthony Mamadou is standing by with an update on sports.
Hello sport fans, welcome to Sports News Update. The African football community is in mourning following the passing of Issa Hayatou, the former president of the Confederation of African Football. Hayatou, who would have turned 78 on the 9th of August, left an indelible mark on the sport during his illustrious career. Born on 9th August 1946 in Garoua, Cameroon, Hayatou was a renowned sports administrator who played a pivotal role in shaping African football. His tenure as CAF president from 1988 to 2017 was marked by significant growth, global recognition, and infrastructure development. However, his leadership was also marred by corruption allegations. Hayatou's legacy extends beyond his CAF presidency. He briefly led FIFA as interim president from October 2015 to February 2016, stabilizing the organization during a very trying period. His contributions to African football include expanding the African Cup of Nations, increasing African representation at the FIFA World Cup, and strengthening football infrastructure across the continent. Tributes have poured in from across the world. The tale of woes for Team Nigeria at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games continued on Friday, with world record holder Tobi Amosun failing to qualify for the final of the 100 meters hurdles event. Amosun finished third in her heat with a time of 12.55 seconds. Unfortunately, the time was not good enough to see Amosun end the sport among the last 8 standing. Amosun, a 100 meters hurdles world record holder, made a statement at the Paris 2024 Olympics, winning her heat and advancing to the semi-finals with a blistering time of 12.49 seconds, but failed to improve on that in the semi-finals. The wild jubilations that greeted the qualification of Team Nigeria's 4x400 meters men's relay team for the final at the Paris Olympic Games have been cut short. This follows the disqualification of the quartet of Emmanuel Ojeli, Ezekiel Natalia, Dubem Amene, and Chidi Okezie, despite finishing in Heat 2 with a season best time of 2.59 5.81 seconds. The sport won by Nigeria has now been given to South Africa. The Nigerian runners were looking to emulate the 1984, 2000 and 2004 teams who won bronze, gold and bronze again in the Los Angeles, Sydney and Athens editions of the Olympic Games. It is unclear if the Nigerian officials in Paris will appeal the decision to disqualify the country's quartet. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momoju.
Thank you, Anthony. We're taking a quick break on Global Morning, everyone. When we return, it will be time for the Global AM News, and behind that, the rest of the program will be brought to you.
Desk on Global Television.
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely. Can we not say that again? Because
that this country gets it right?
Who are these bandits? It's the Desk on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the decks. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the decks.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Ukeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team. Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumain Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and it repeats every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
But by your name, you say global. So global is a big coverage. So you are taking a big name but they are starting from from the scratch. So that big name, by the grace of Almighty Allah, you achieve that. You will appreciate your activities, your reportage, and everything you are doing. Do it with the fear of Almighty God. Step by step, you'll be growing very, very globally. Get your things right and then report rightly. And then inshallah, sky will be your remaining.
I want to go further to congratulate you on being on DSTV 365. Yeah, channel 365 is an awesome thing. Congratulations, and I will enjoy each and every one to keep on watching Global TV.
This is Global TV. For your current affairs, for your current information, ideas, education, entertainment news at the best. Channel 365 on DSTV. You have just come alive into a new phenomenon in the media industry. Keep watching. Stay tuned.
Keep watching Global Television on DSTV channel.
All our viewers in Nigeria and around the world, to AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365. Now the news in full. The Federal Ministry of Health through the Port Health Service has made it mandatory for travelers arriving in Nigeria to declare their health status via form in the wake of the resurgence of monkeypox across Africa. The ministry says the form will serve as a measure to track potential importation of the monkeypox diseases, preventing it from becoming a public health threat in Nigeria. Jean Kasseye, head of Africa's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said during an online media briefing that Africa's centers may declare monkeypox a public health emergency this week over the growing outbreak on the continent. Poland has denied that its nationals who were arrested by security operatives in Kano, Nigeria, waved the Russian flag. The detained Poles were arrested on August 6 in Kano for allegedly displaying Russian flags during the End Bad Governance protests held by some Nigerians against economic hardship in the country. Also arrested were 6 Spanish nationals. Spokesperson for the Department of State Service, Peter Afunaya, at a meeting of diplomats in Abuja, had said the Poles were arrested because of where they were found during the protests and for displaying foreign flags. However, the Polish Foreign Ministry countered the allegation. On a sad note, Tula village of Buji local government area of Jigawa State has been thrown into mourning following the drowning of 3 girls. Eyewitnesses said the deceased were cutting grasses near a pond to feed their livestock when they slipped and fell into the water. The divisional officer of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in the local government, Abdul Rashid Adam, led the rescue mission, and the bodies were later taken to a health center. Vice President Kashim Shettima has stressed the commitment of President Bola Tinubu's government to support and empower more Nigerian youths to excel in their chosen vocations. Shettima, who spoke when he received the leadership of the All Progressive Congress Youth Wing, said, apart from addressing genuine concerns affecting the youths, the administration's focus on young persons is premised on the trust and confidence the president has in them, noting that the youths are what he called the lifeblood of any nation. A fact that he said President acknowledges the note that President Tinubu holds Nigerian youth in high esteem, and his commitment is evident in his appointments and the administration's policies and other initiatives. Meanwhile, the leadership of the All Progressive Congress in the United Kingdom says Nigerian youths should halt ongoing protests and engage in meaningful dialogue with the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The leaders emphasized that President Tinubu is committed to an open-door policy which encourages direct communication and collaboration with all stakeholders, particularly the youth. The youth wing of the ruling party acknowledged the valid concerns and passions during the youth to demand change and better governance. He, however, stated that he believes peaceful dialogue and constructive engagement with the government are the most effective and sustainable ways to address the issue. Still on the Unprogressive Congress, APC in Kano State has expressed concern over alleged incidents of diversion of the palliatives by officials of the ruling New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP. A statement issued by the state party chairman, Abdullahi Abbas, said government's failure to take necessary action against its officials found to be involved in the diversion of the palliatives may be intercepted as acts being perpetrated with its implied support. The party therefore called an independent investigation and prosecution of the culprits. Governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, has clarified the nagging issues surrounding some deductions in the salaries of some civil servants in the state. Otti made the clarification at the Government House Umaha night during his monthly media interaction with newsmen. He said that the government had conducted investigations in response to the complaints by some civil servants about deductions in their salaries. Otti said that the investigation revealed that the migration from the use of 2018-2019 tax rate to the current tax rate in the deduction, the taxes from salaries, was responsible for the difference. The Federal High Court in Kaduna has dismissed a suit filed by the immediate past governor of the state, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, seeking to set aside the ad hoc committee report of the Kaduna State House of Assembly. Among other regulatory reliefs, in a ruling delivered on July 30, 2024, and a copy of the certified true copy, Justice R.M. Akwala held that the applicant failed to prove any of the circumstances that will warrant setting aside the proceedings of the court. El-Rufai had approached the court seeking an order to set aside the proceedings of July 18, 2024 for lack of jurisdiction and non-compliance with extant laws and rules. You're watching AM News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365 and Star Chimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms by using the Global TV engine and the handles now showing on your screen. When AM News return, Rwanda's Kagame sworn in for fourth term after 99% election win. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of AM News. Thank you for staying with us. Now, time to take a look at business. The Lagos Rail Mass Transit says it will, beginning Monday, August 12, 2024, introduce a 25% fare discount to commuters traveling within one peak period between 10 a.m. and 4 a.m. daily in Blue Line. The state will also upscale the number of trips on the Blue Line from 54 to 72 per day, while the current schedule for Sunday operations remains unchanged. Abimbola Akinajo, Managing Director of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, said Blue Line train riders will be able to travel between Marina and Mile 2 in just about 18 minutes from the previous travel time of 25 minutes, noting that there would be a train every 18 minutes both ways, thus allowing commuters to plan their trips. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SIRAP, has urged President Bola Tinubu to investigate the $1.5 billion World Bank loan obtained by the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. SIRAP urged Tinubu to probe the alleged mismanagement of Chinese loans of $3.121 billion obtained by the federal government. They urged the President to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi and appropriate anti-corruption agencies to promptly and thoroughly investigate how the loan was spent, thereby reducing poverty and social protection across the states. On our foreign news, Paul Kagame has been sworn in for a fourth term as Rwanda's president after winning 99% of the vote in last month's election. Only 2 candidates were allowed to stand against Mr. Kagame on the 15th of July's election. In his 4 presidential election, he has always gained at least 93% of the vote. Right Group says the margin of his electoral victory is proof of lack of democracy in Rwanda. In his oath of office, Kagame vowed to preserve peace and national sovereignty and to consolidate national unity. A United States court has convicted a Moroccan former finance minister Miguel Chang over a 10-year-old conspiracy that triggered the worst economic crisis in his home country since independence. Chang was found guilty of accepting payoffs through U.S. banks for approving secret loans. The loans were intended to pay for the fleet of tuna fishing ships and other projects, leading to the affair being doubted, the tuna bond scandal. But the loans were pondered, leaving the Southern African nation $2 billion in debt. Chang was arrested in South Africa in 2018 and extradited to the U.S. the following year to face fraud and money laundering charges. Thousands of people in Serbia have protested in Belgrade against plans to mine one of Europe's largest deposits of lanthanum, a crucial raw material for electric car batteries. Activists says the mine would cause irreversible environmental destruction to Serbia Jada village, where the deposit is located. A license guaranteed to mining giant Rio Tinto was revoked in 2022 following widespread protests in the country. But the project was restarted last month following a court decision and government U-turn. President Alexander Vučić has insisted that strict environmental safety protocols will be put in place. Serbia's interior ministry estimated that between 24,000 and 27,000 people joined the protests. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has acknowledged for the first time that his military is conducting a cross-border offensive inside Russia's western Kursk region. In his video address, Zelensky said Ukraine's military was pushing the war onto the aggressor territory. Kyiv launched a surprise attack on Tuesday, rapidly advancing more than 10 kilometers, which is about 6 miles inside Russia. The deepest raid since Moscow began its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2024. Local officials says in Ukraine, the capital Kyiv and several other regions came under a Russian drone and missile attack in the early hours. Donald Trump's campaign says it has been hacked, blaming foreign sources of disturbing internal communications and dossiers on running mate J.D. Vance. Trump's campaign implied Iran is behind the move as it had received emails with the campaign materials from a source who refused to identify themselves. Over now to sports, the Nigerian Rugby League proudly announces the appointment of Bolu Faborun as the head coach for the women's national team ahead of the World Cup qualifiers against Kenya. Faborun, known for his extensive experience and success, previously led the national men's team to victory in the MEA Championship in 2024 in Ghana. His leadership is expected to drive the women's team to similar successes as they aim for a spot in the World Cup. The qualifiers against Kenya offer a crucial opportunity for the women's team to shine on the international stage should they secure a victory under Bolu's guidance. The team will advance to the World Series next year. A former assistant coach of the Nigerian national football team, Sylvanus Okpala, has voiced his opinion on the current state of Nigerian football and the recent controversies surrounding the team. Okpala emphasized the need for homegrown solutions for the country's football challenges. The football tactician noted that there is still a chance for the nation to qualify for the 2026 World Cup, emphasizing the importance of the Super Eagles securing qualification. Addressing the earlier controversy involving Victor Osimhen and the ex-national team coach, Okpala criticized both parties for their handling of the situation. Nigerian long jump star SM Brume says she has vowed to return stronger after a 5th-place finish at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, assuring it will be the last time she missed out on a medal in major competitions. Brume, who recorded a jump of 6.70 meters in the final, fell short of the podium in an event dominated by the United States Tara Davis Woodhull, who secured gold with a leap of 7.10 meters despite the disappointment. The 27-year-old stated that she remains optimistic and determined to make a more impressive return. Still on, the United States have maintained their grip on the Olympic men's basketball title by overwhelming host France to win a 5th successive gold medal in Paris. A star-studded American team packed with NBA icons led by LeBron James and Stephen Curry demonstrated their quality to win 78-87 amid a febrile atmosphere at Bercy Arena. The success saw the current crop emulate the 1992's Dream Team, which they have been regularly compared to. In front of almost 20,000 fans, France refused to roll over and moved back within 3 points at 82-79, with the clock ticking down in the final quarter. However, Curry, as it so regularly does, instantly landed a three-pointer for 85-79 to ease the pressure and switched 3 more as the Americans raced away. Morocco's Irfan Rahimi has etched his name into Olympic football history, clinching the top scorer award at the Paris 2024 Men's Olympic Football Tournament with a remarkable tally of 8 goals. Rahimi's individual achievement was confirmed after the Men's Olympic Football Tournament conducted on Friday after Spain defeated host France to win the gold medal. The 28-year-old Al-Ain striker performance throughout the tournament was capped off with a brace in Morocco's epic 6-0 victory over Egypt in a bronze medal match on Thursday. This win not only secured Morocco's first-place Olympic football medal, but also provided the perfect stage of Rahimi to showcase his goal-scoring powers on final time. And as we end the AM News on Global Television, let's take a quick look at some of our top stories again. Following rescuers of monkeypox, Nigeria has mandated health declaration for travelers. In business, Lagos has said it is set to begin 25% fare discount on Blue Line as part of measures to ease economic hardship. On our foreign scene, Rwanda's Paul Kagame has been sworn in for 4th term as president after 99% election win. Finally, on sports, Irfan Rahimi of Morocco has emerged top scorer of Paris 2024 Olympics. And that's it on AM News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 365. And pardon me, we're on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms by using a Global TV and NGN or the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
But by your name, you say global. So global is a big coverage. So you are taking a big name, but you are starting from from scratch. So that big name, by the grace of Almighty Allah, you achieve that. You will appreciate your activities, your reportage, and everything you are doing. Do it with the fear of Almighty God. Step by step, you'll be growing very, very globally. Get your things right and then report rightly. And then inshallah, sky will be your remaining.
I want to go further to congratulate you on being on DSTV 365. Yeah, channel 365 is an awesome thing. Congratulations, and I will enjoy each and every one to keep on watching Global TV.
This is Global TV. For your current affairs, for your current information, ideas, education, entertainment news at the best. Channel 365 on DSTV. You have just come alive into a new phenomenon in the media industry. Keep watching. Stay tuned.
Keep watching Global Television on DSTV channel 365 for your news and all national issues and international breaking news. Watch Global TV.
Abuja Rail Mass Transit is a regional rail transport system in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. It is the second rapid transit system in West Africa. The first phase of the project connects the city center to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, stopping at the Abuja-Kaduna Railway Station in Ido, with more than 2,000 passengers boarding per day. The Abuja Metro Station project, which has been idle for years, was commissioned in 2018 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, and on May 29, 2024, President Bola Tinubu flagged it off for commercial operations. According to the design of the rail, the project is to cover a total distance of 290 kilometers and is meant to be developed in 6 phases.
The facilities we have now is modern facilities. We have what we call DMU, diesel multiple unit, popularly called locomotives. And we have 12 DMU, and each DMU consists of 4 locomotives. So, in other words, we have 48 locomotives on ground now. And the tracks, they are, double, gauge tracks. So, and you can see the stations. They are modern stations. So far so good. We have recorded over 30,000 passengers since we started 30th of May 2024.
The Abuja Rail Transit has a future expansion of Lot 2 from Gwagwa via Transportation Center to Nyanya Karu. Lot 4 is from Kuje to Kashi, with the remaining legs of the transitway in Line 2. Lot 5 from Kubwa via Buari to Suleja. Lot 6 from Airport via Kuje and Gwagwalada to Dobi.
This is actually my first time boarding a train, and I'm so happy and so glad for the federal government to bring this into Abuja, and this is really, really, really a nice experience for me.
The train is clean, and as you can see, the securities inside there are doing their work. The federal government, I will commend them on this particular development because it's a welcome development in the city centers of Abuja. So people who are coming from the Basanjua to the city centers, who are working in the central areas, they find it very, very easy because due to the cost of the transportation now, fuel cost is too high. People cannot actually afford to use their vehicles to go to work every morning. So they are using the means of this fast light rail to go to their workplaces.
I've been on board of the train for more than 11 times, and I feel good that the government provide for us a free and reliable transport for everybody.
Or at least on this one, they did very well.
We are already live inside the train, about to move in less than 5 minutes down to the airport, which is the final stop for today's. And of course, the experience right here, the passengers already boarding, is quite electrifying, giving a lot of commentaries about how they feel about the train. Generally, this is also in a bid by the federal government to cushion the lot of transportation pressure on the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. And we can see the passengers are already boarding, sitting behind, and having a feel of what the train really looks like. For some of them, this is the first time, but for others, it has been on operations right from 30th May till today. They have been boarding the train to and fro. And this is also a way of also encouraging the fact that the experience of the train station and the fact that the security right here is also safe for the passengers.
The commencement of commercial operations of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit project is to solve the perennial transportation problem in the Federal Capital Territory and its adjoining towns and cities. The project will also be a reliable alternative to road transport, help alleviate traffic congestion in Abuja, and reduce strains associated with heavy traffic. The light rail system will also provide mobility for residents to access various parts of the city, as well as support social inclusion, and provides greater access to employment, education, and healthcare facilities.
Thank you for staying with us. It's time where we get to bring you big headlines from across our national dailies this morning. It's a Monday, of course. The papers are loaded. I can tell you that very authoritatively. So let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you papers.
University papers.
Let's turn to first of this morning, the Daily Independent. All right, as our first port of call. We will begin with the headlines above the nameplate of the Daily Independent. From the left side of it, top of the page, says invasion of headquarters. NLC accuses FG of intimidation, attempts to gag workers. The writer says, asks Tinubu to convene, let's see what that is, conclave to address grievances, national grievances. All right, we hope that happens soon. Serap asks Tinubu to probe spending of $1.5 billion World Bank loan by 36 states FCT. Serap has asked the federal government to do many things recently, but let's see how the government can take it one step at a time. And then the Star Story says 22 commercial airlines close shop in Nigeria in 24 years. That's almost one every year if you were to do a ratio of it. 3 riders accompany that headline. As stakeholders say, present realities may not support existing 12. Blame FG policies on high mortality rates of domestic airlines. List how government can help sustain commercial airline operations. Senate replies Obasanjo says NAS does not fix lawmakers' salaries. You find those details on page 29 of the Daily Independent today. LG autonomy, FG creating another bureaucracy that will be prone to corruption. That's according to the PDP. 2027, Atiku Obi Kwankwaso urged to form a new party to rescue Nigeria. And bad governance, Obi mourns demonstrators, security officers killed during protests. Recapitalization, 4 banks in dilemma over losing brand identity. Of course, we saw that coming. There's going to be a lot of M&A, that's merger and acquisition in the banking sector going forward. The writer here tells us NDIC pays 82.3% in short depositors of liquefied Heritage Bank. Those are stories you would like to look up details of when you pick up a copy of the Daily Independent today. It's a daily affair now. Let's turn to the Daily Trust, and Juma has those headlines for us.
All right, over to the Daily Trust. And below the template of the Daily Trust, we have terrorists kill 4 soldiers in Sokoto. And the riders there says, burn patrol vehicles, military launches manhunt. And of course, the Star Story there says, thank you, Mr. President, for establishing the Northwest Development Commission. Of course, that's another effort by this present administration. And of course, kudos also. Now, looking at terrorists kill 4 soldiers in Sokoto, would you say that's a form of retaliation for what happened in other states? You know, we heard that the military killed some terrorists, and now the terrorists have come back to retaliate by killing 4 soldiers in Sokoto. When would this insurgency end? We'll ask ourselves this question. And that's all we have on the Daily Trust. And next is the New Telegraph, and Uyi is going to run us through that newspaper.
Let's begin with the big story on the front page of the New Telegraph this morning. Stop harassing people with opposing ideologies, NLC tells FG. All right, and then there's a picture with there's a headline with a picture of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. Parliamentary seats, reps praise or raise hope for women. Okay. And then one has a picture of Peter Obi. It says Obi seeks probe of Nigeria's poor outing at Paris Olympics. I'm sure that's not a conversation that most people find palatable. Anthony Mamodu will bring you all of those details in the course of Talk Sports at 10 a.m. West Africa time on our program, on our platform today. LG Autonomy, FG trying to create corrupt bureaucracy. That's what PDP is saying. What does that mean? Well, you can find details on page 2 of the New Telegraph. Now, if we take it a notch higher, just above the nameplates of the New Telegraph, President Maduro backs Nigeria's interests in Venezuela's gas field. That's talking about Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, whose election, the recent one that brought him into office for the 3rd time, has been deemed controversial and undemocratic. That's a conversation for another day. But above the nameplate altogether, H124, that's the first half of 2024, 5 banks, fees, commission, income up 50.88% to 177.17 billion naira. Okay, then by the side, the right-hand side of the New Telegraph, you find several headlines there. Women Affairs Advisor to Ondo Governor appoints 29 aides. That's on page 26. You're an advisor to the wife of, to the state governor. Then you appoint 29 aides.
Why?
You obviously know I don't have that answer, right?
So we have to read it up to find out. I hope we'll get some explanation when it gets. That's a lot.
It says a lot.
That's a lot. Like, really, it's a lot.
And you know how people can copy absurd and weird things. So tomorrow, another advisor, maybe in that state, maybe in some other state, or a commissioner can wake up and say, well, if somebody can, as an advisor on women affairs to the governor, appoint 29 aides, who says I can do 40? Let's continue to raise
But I want to ask, this is, I don't say, Jumai, maybe because it's a woman thing now, you understand. But maybe it's a form of employment opportunities for these individuals. I'm just saying. So let's just look at it at the other side and see maybe it's a form of employment opportunities for individuals. Well, let's just look at it. Is it like being excessive? Is it like, let's just see what it is, what it entails. We'll get to find out, definitely.
Well,
that smirk on your face.
I don't want to drag you into this.
Don't drag me into this.
Okay, let's continue with the headlines on the New Telegraph now, everyone. It says, Jakba 20 UK universities face financial pressure over unstable naira. Okay. What's more, terrorists kill 4 soldiers, 7 others suffer gunshot wounds in Sokoto. You can look up details of all of these stories from today's issue of the New Telegraph newspaper.
I just picked out something from that New Telegraph. Looking at this, 20 UK universities face financial pressure over unstable naira. And this is the Jakpa individuals. What's the faith now? What's in your own? I know you have nothing to do, but at least you have a...
Okay, you know I don't have plans to Jakpa, right?
I know you've always said that, and I don't know...
Why I love this country so much.
No, it's good. Let's be patriotic. Don't put me on the spot. I want you, Mr. Gombe.
I do, quite frankly, I do. Okay, I'll tell you something real quick, right? So, I looked up some of the things that Tony Elumelu said during the week about the oil and gas industry. In fact, for the first time, I even got to know that he was heavily invested in oil and gas. I never knew that. But again, that story is
for another day.
I mean, very almost unprintable, right? But then there was something else he said about young people. He said he doesn't have any problem. This was, just to be clear, an interview granted to the Financial Times, right? So he said he doesn't have a problem with people wanting to leave whatever country they live in if they feel they have better chances, or they stand better chances, or they have better opportunities elsewhere, as long as they do it right, and so on and so forth. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, last year, the UK in particular, which actually, if you like, broadened the JACBA landscape, also said it was going to review its policies effective January of 2024, which has been done. And then, of course, one of the things it said was that starting from January 2024, you won't be able to come to the UK to study, especially at master's or PhD level, and bring your family with you, because that was the arrangement before then. The policy allowed for that. So I could say I'm going to the UK to study, and then I'm going with my wife and my children. But the policy now has altered that particular clause in such a way that you can't bring your family, I mean your dependents as they call them, that sort of thing. So it has sort of shrunk the space, so to speak, all right? But then Nigerians are still finding their way out of the country in terms of the JACBA, I mean within the JACBA context, whether it's the United Kingdom, the US, Canada, Australia, wherever it is, all right, that sort of thing. But in all of this, when you talk about the UK in particular, you know, most of these schools abroad also largely, UK in this case, depend on, as it were, the funding that comes from international students.
Very true.
You need to look at the disparity between what the British guy or the person from within the United Kingdom pays as tuition versus what somebody who is from outside of Europe altogether pays.
It's a lot.
All right, the margin is so wide. All right, so the monies coming from all of this contribute very immensely, all right, to the, so to speak, purse of the governments in that country. Therefore, if there's a decline in the number of people who come into that country to study, it means it's going to have some adverse impact on revenue generation as well, and that again will tell on public utilities, how much government is able to spend,
and so on, as well.
Exactly, and so on and so forth. So that's why I realize that it's quite a complicated conversation to have.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, don't you think they should review that clause? Because they didn't have issues like this when dependents come along with individuals who are coming to study in the UK or any country, but particularly in the UK, there was no issue of universities having funding issues and all of that. Don't you think the clause should be reviewed? I think maybe that's one of the ways.
Let's tell ourselves a bit of a bitter truth on the program this morning. No country wants you to come into their country because they love you. Let's be very clear on that. No country is bringing you over. Forget about all the exchange programs we do, all right? The US has probably the highest number of exchange programs in the world. I don't think I know any country that can contest or challenge the US on that front. They have the most, in fact, as a matter of fact, the US has an association of exchange programs alumni. That's how robust it is. But the US is also doing that from a place of love. It's doing it to also strengthen its footprint across the world. So there's a political element to it. There's a diplomatic factor to it, and so on and so forth. Therefore, it also raises the concern as to what do we do after we've gone for these exchange programs, after we've gone to study abroad? How many Nigerians this year, let's say for the next academic session that begins on September 1, which is just a few weeks away, would finish studying anywhere in the world outside of Africa and gladly, without being compelled, return home to say, look, I've gone to broaden my horizon, so I'm coming back home to, based on that capacity I've built now,
impact.
Exactly, make a difference in my community. They realize that the opportunities are more there, they stand better chances there, life expectancy, I mean, the human development index generally and stuff like that. So what that means is that if they are going to review it, it's not going to come from public outcry, as we say in Nigeria, or public appeal. It's going to come from a place of what they call enlightened self-interest in international politics.
Exactly.
In other words, they have to look at what's their interests vis-a-vis how that affects other countries or the world as we know it and things like that. So,
but mostly how it will profit them first.
of course, it has to be interest first.
All right. So next we have the Nigerian Tribune, and above that nameplate we have key players kick as unbeatable state-owned airports litter Nigeria. And next on that nameplate, we have Reps Mule legislation on devaluation of power to state. And below that nameplate, we have the new constitution, demand for 2014 Confab report resurfaces as Afenifere, Pandef, others diss the Patriots' proposal. And we have some writers there. He has Pandef laments flaws in 1999 Constitution, proposal in line with our demands. Afenifere, that's Oyo there. And Patriots call inapt necessary, Asobem. And then Tinubu should dust up report, Bode George, and who is a lawyer there. And we shouldn't waste taxpayers' money on new constitution. Korea and Yagbadi is saying that. And of course, we have a picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current president, and of course, the ex-president, President Goodluck Jonathan there. And here it says seaport charges scaring importers from $1.5 billion, Lagos Ibadan Cargo Rail NRC. And that you can find on page 7. Now, ensure full implementation of import duty waivers on drugs, NMA tells Tinubu, and that you can find on page 6. Poor allocation of resources, further killing nation's education sector. And that's in the words of ASU on page 24, you will find that. Remuneration, lawmakers knock Obasanjo, say allegations false. On page 2, you see that. And the writer says, stop lecturing Nigerians on corruption, Ologbon tells ex-president. Now, CBN's non-redemption of $2.4 billion Forex forward contracts, grants, treats to manufacturing, and of course, that's a word of MEN, and that you can find on page 6. So please go out and get your Nigerian Tribune for more information on these news making rounds. Next is the Daily Times. Over to you.
All right, let's go through the Daily Times real quick, beginning with the big story for you. Allegations of self-determined salaries falls, attempt to crucify legislature. That's according to the Senate. Now, recall that Obasanjo has said that it is wrong. Some people say evil for legislators to fix their own salaries. They say you can't be a judge in your own cause.
In your own case.
Exactly. But now, legislators themselves have come out to speak up to say there's no truth in that. But there are two writers associated with that headline. The first one says, no senator receives monetary patronage from presidency. All right, Dara Modu. The second reads, Reps reply Obasanjo, say 10th Assembly driven by patriotism. NLC demands immediate government action after invasion of headquarters. Says police must apologize for action. Naira outside banks hits record high of 93.6%, reaching 1.04 trillion naira, according to the CBN. Above the name masts, FRSC vital to Nigeria's security architecture, according to Interior Minister, that's Dr. Olubomi Tunji-Ojo. Protests, FG establishes feedback mechanism with Nigerians. NAF airstrikes hit 13 illegal refining sites in Niger Delta. Serap to Tinubu, probe $1.5 billion World Bank loan to states, $3 billion Chinese loan. We can't even keep track of these loans anymore. So let's just continue to see how much those loans will change the lives of the everyday Nigerian. But then, in the meantime, we'll turn to the Guardian newspaper. And you have the Guardian newspaper.
Yes, I do. And, of course, below the caption of the Guardian newspaper, and, of course, we have the picture of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu there. And it says, electricity tariff may spike over weak fiscal position, 2.1 trillion naira subsidy, and that's on page 6. And you can read more to get more information. And below all of that, we have Probe, $1.5 billion, $3 billion loan to states. Federal government, Surap urges Tinubu. Police press cultism, cybercrime charges against protesters, Ondo Goba candidate, and that you can find on page 7. NDIC reimburses Heritage Bank customers with less than 5 million deposits. And NLC demands apology from federal government police over raid on headquarters, and you can find that on page 4. Now it says Edo Refinery decries NNPCL's failure to supply crude. Now, protest, and it says police arrest 99 suspects for murder, vandalism in Borno, and you can get that on page 8. And we have how Tinubu hurriedly terminated CBN special investigation. And here it says National Assembly pushes back on pay storm as Obi others flare course of governance. Now bandits, and that's the picture of the chief of army staff there. And it says bandits kill soldiers, invade village, displace households in Sokoto. And you can find that on page 30. And that's all the news making rounds on The Guardian. Next is The Nation.
All right, let's go to The Nation newspaper for you. We'll begin from the headlines above the nameplates, two of them. Basically, Dogara berates Bauchi governor over attack on Tinubu. The writer says, President, says, Bala Mohammed from losing office. Says President saved Bala Mohammed from losing office. But those are two different issues, apparently. Heritage Bank, NDIC moves to clear salary, pensioners deposit hurdles. Residential million-man march in Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, Rivers, others. 3 riders. Kaduna government vows to deal with criminals pretending to be protesters. Kano holds special prayer for nation. Plateau Youth presents charter of demands to governor. FG terminates Dantata and Sanwa's contract on Kano-Maiduguri Road. Troops soup on oil thieves in Niger Delta. That's one of the big headlines on the front page of The Nation today. Ex-rep Oyemechi regains freedom from kidnappers. This happened about 11 or so days ago in Asaba. What's more? I think that's all we have for you from the Nation newspaper this morning. Up next is the Punch newspaper.
All right, giving you some very punchy headlines now. And below that nameplate, of course, the star story there, we have a picture of our president, and it says, "Thank you, Mr. President, for establishing the Northwest Development Commission." And we've seen that, of course, kudos to Mr. President for establishing that. At least that's one of the efforts of this administration. Now, just below the nameplate of the Punch, we have Dangote Petrol, and it says, "Marketers wait as delivery date extended again." And you can find that on page 31 of the Punch. And here it says, the writer there says, refinery needs 15 cargoes for September, only 6 cargoes supplied. And that's all we have for you on the Punch newspaper. And next is the Vanguard.
Vanguard happens to be our last paper, by the way. Says Financial Vanguard, banks credit to manufacturing sector up 53.7% in Q1 24. Barbican Capital sues First Bank over alleged wrong shareholding data, and the star story, and blame game halts bad policies. Labour Obi Lukman tell Tinubu. That story has about 4 riders with it. Monkeypox, FG directs travelers to Nigeria to fill health declaration form. Nigeria's poorest Olympics outing, and you see Toby Amuson there with her 2 hands on her head. Says, show of shame, 9 billion naira wasted, 88 athletes, no medal. Ironically, you have Nigerians who represented other countries taking in medals, across different categories and all of that. So there's some truth we're not telling ourselves. I spoke with somebody on Saturday very extensively about one of the embarrassing incidents, in Paris. Again, it was from our end, where a particular athlete's name, this was supposed to be a star athlete, her name didn't pop up. Her name was nowhere to be found.
Very shameful.
All right, it was embarrassing. And there was also an issue of bicycle being ordered for one athlete. Bicycle either didn't come on time. German contingent had to make a bicycle available and blah, 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 blah. You see, here's the problem with all of this. The event has come and gone. You can't, there's nothing you can do about that. But you see, when these things happen, nobody is held accountable. Nobody is pinpointed to be the one. I remember when there was, in 2009, by the way, when there was the issue of bomb blast by Abdulmutallab over Detroit, the field one, all right? It was around the Christmas period. People still call it the Christmas Day bomb blast or bomb blast attempt, what have you, all right? But the challenge is when it happened, because the guy's father came out, so went to the U.S. Embassy. He said he had gone to the U.S. Embassy to say, look, I'm not so clear about my child's motives, but I think the U.S. authorities should be put on notice in this regard. And maybe the intel was not properly handled. But when the incident had happened, the then President Barack Obama said, the buck stops with me. The issue was reported to the U.S. authorities in Nigeria. Barack Obama is in Washington. But the man says the buck stops with me, which means somebody must take responsibility for something, even at that level. But in Nigeria, who is going to be held liable? Is it the Minister of Sports? Is it the president of the affected associations? Because all the different games have their associations, and each association has an executive. So who is going to be held liable at this point in time? It's just going to end up blame game after blame game after blame game. Nobody takes responsibility. There's no leadership. The whole thing dies a natural death. 4 years later or 2 years later, as the case may be, the vicious cycle continues.
You know what? We're all promoting change. We're all promoting. Okay, aside the end bad governance. Now, what is the opposite of end bad governance is bringing good governance and all of that. So everyone must take responsibility. It's just like the chain in which we find ourselves, from the MD to the GM and then management staff. It must start from somewhere. Like you just mentioned, Barack Obama says, what?
The buck stops with me.
The buck stops with me. And now, see, it's a chain. There's something called protocol. If no one wants to own up, then it starts from the head. The head will definitely fish out who is responsible for this particular office. It's very important that we know that for things to get better, change must start with you and I. It must start with you and I. It doesn't matter how big or how small. People keep saying when you're in authority, those in authority, what changes have you made as an individual? Like someone would tell me, like that woman in the marketplace that would tell you, like, the round mudu, you buy rice. I'm just putting it in a very low context now. That you buy rice with in the market, all of that. And she actually cheats you and pretends as if she puts things in there, then she fills it up. And, that's part of the issues that we have.
That's padding, right?
That's padding. But that's the thing. The change starts with you and I. So somebody must give account. Someone must be held responsible for that. It's very shameful, like you said. No, at the end of it all, it dies a natural death. But is that normal? Are we going forward from all of that? Despite all the efforts that we see and all of that, what's the way forward? In Pigeon Palace, we say which way?
Former President Obasanjo was again speaking in an interview very recently. He said Nigeria appears to be a country that takes a step forward, 2 steps sideways, and 4 steps backward. You see, we can always have our issues with political figures, point out their own failing while they were in office and all of that, but the truth is always the truth. We must continue to do self-assessments of how we're running our lives as a country. Very important. We must continue to tell ourselves the truth about the areas where we are doing well, where we're strong, the areas where we are mediocre and we need to do more, and the areas where we are failing altogether and we need to work assiduously to raise our game and be able to compete. You don't compete because you have the population. You don't compete because you have the landmass. You don't compete because you have black gold, what we call crude oil. you compete because you make the most of the monies realized from the sale of your crude oil and how you spread that money into strategic and very pivotal sectors, whether it is tech, health, education, infrastructure, and so on and so forth.
Very important.
I mean, this is me, a young boy in a university class, and the lecturer is saying that the same oil that your country has is what other people like UAE and Qatar and Kuwait
so well.
have also, I mean, even Saudi Arabia have found, underneath the earth. The difference between us and all of these countries is what we're doing with ours. Let's even assume oil will last for 1,000 years, for example. From the way we are carrying on now as a country, what difference will it make in another 1,000 years? 1,000 years looks like it's a long time.
No, it's not.
But let's be clear, we have discovered oil now for what? Over 6 decades. I mean, we've been talking oil since 1956, 1957, all right? But look at even the places where the oil comes from. Look at even the entire country, for example. Are we making the most of it? Look at schools, look at health, look at critical infrastructure. Look at life expectancy in Nigeria, for instance, and compare with other countries that don't even have oil, that depend on maybe things like their seaports or even tourism. All right, so I think these are some concerns we should go to bed with every other night until we find practicable solutions.
You're absolutely right, and it takes a lot. That is why some leaders should understand that when we put you in that position, because we have that trust that you will do better, and you actually guide us through all of this. You know, when I read that the NFF or the Olympics, that the athletes that went to Paris, I wasn't happy about it. I just, hopefully more light will be thrown. It will not be shoved under the carpet. We'll hear someone should take responsibility. It's very important. I think that's the way. Let's know that at least we have accountability and transparency, which is very important.
That's well said. Let's go wrap it up on the Vanguard newspaper for you this morning. 10 die in Abia truck accident, 25 missing in Sokoto boat mishap. A lot of very unfortunate things have happened this past weekend. All right. Senator Obasanjo, your claims that we fix our salaries, allowances uncharitable. All right. So I hope the president is still listening now. But then it happens. That's all we have for you from the Vanguard newspaper, and it wraps up the newspaper review segment on Global Morning today. All right, so basically, I think with all of these stories, you see, there are some that will make you laugh. There are some that will make you feel like, well, there's nothing new really about this. But there are also some that make you realize that we have not been able to make as much progress as we should, which naturally should put more pressure on those in authorities. And those in authority, I mean, when we say those in authority, it isn't just rise and fall on the president. Yes, you may say the president is the father of the country. The president should be able to, as it were, midwife the development of the country, coordinate, and so on and so forth. Yes, he has to governize, no doubt about that. But the point is that we have leadership from top to bottom.
Yes, we do.
Everybody must be doing their part. The other time we're interviewing a very prominent Nigerian, I mean, just this last weekend, and one of the things we asked him is, what is the role of traditional institution in leadership? You know, does it always have to be about who wins election, who loses election, who is the governor, who is the president? I mean, legislators and so on and so forth. You see, leadership is very broad, and everybody must bring their A game, bring their thinking cap, you know, and things like that.
Very important. You're absolutely right. Leadership positions should be looked at thoroughly. It's very, very important, especially traditional leadership. It's very, very important. All right, we're going to quickly go on a very quick break. Like we said, that's the end of the newspaper review. Hope you are well informed. Please go out and get the various newspapers so you can be well informed on the news making rounds. Let's go on a quick break. Global Morning returns shortly.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chong Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are the
Palestinians. We are the Canadian because
that this country gets it right.
Who are these bandits? It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumai Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and it repeats every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out. Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news. current issues and human-related topics. Join Samuel Udi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here. In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
I want to go further to congratulate you on being on DSTV 365. Channel 365 is an awesome thing. Congratulations, and I will enjoy each and every one to keep on watching Global TV.
This is Global TV for your current affairs, for your current information, ideas, education, entertainment news at the best. Channel 365 on DSTV. You have just come alive into a new phenomenon in the media industry. Keep watching. Stay tuned.
Keep watching Global Television on DSTV Channel 365 for your news and all national issues and international breaking news. Watch Global TV.
By your name, you say global. So global is a big coverage. So you are taking a big name, but you are starting from from scratch. So that big name, by the grace of Almighty Allah, you achieve that. You will appreciate your activities, your reportage, and everything you are doing. Do it with the fear of Almighty God. Step by step, you'll be growing very, very globally. Get your things right and then report rightly. And then inshallah, sky will be your minute.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more, all on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chung Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
Is the desk on global television?
Nigeria, come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely.
Can we not say better
because that this country gets it right?
Who are these bandits? It's the Dex on global television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on global television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on global television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Thank you for staying with us, everyone. So let's put our conversations on the road real quick for you, just to let you know that we are going to tell out on the program this morning, discussing the International Youth Day, what the significance around the theme is for this year. And I mean, I personally feel excited about it, not just because I'm a young person, but because of the fact that it focuses on technology. I mean, this is 2024, and we all know how pivotal tech is to any sector where you find yourself. In fact, in Nigeria now, you find a handful of states taking advantage of technology just to drive teaching in such a way that it becomes a bit more cutting edge. They're using technology to expand issues around STEM, science, tech, engineering and math and all of that. But we're going to put two discussions on the road real quick for you. The first is the one that focuses on the protests, 10-day protests, 1st of August to 10th of August, which of course climaxed, some people say anti-climaxed, just this last Saturday, and what the impact has been and what lessons we can take away from this 10-day demonstration. We are joined by Haruna Braimo. He's a politician and an economic analyst to help us carve a path into these discussions. Haruna, it's a delight to have you join us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. Always my pleasure.
Good morning, Mr. Haruna.
Good morning, Juma.
All right, so Juma and I will spend the next few minutes not having coffee with you, but discussing national issues, all right? So let's begin from this protest. I know, yes, you are a politician, of course, and we have also seen a very strong political angle to these developments. But let's pretend there's no politics involved in it and talk about the economics of this protest.
Yeah, beyond the politics comes to the reality that I'm first a citizen of Nigeria. I'm a human being, and humanity is supposed to be the onions and spice of every endeavor, whether political, science, or whatever. So beyond the politics, we have to really look at what is going on with Nigeria structurally, and how it has resulted to issues that are no longer being contained, that is making the youth or the masses want to protest in the first place. The economic implication of the protests definitely is in the negatives. No protest that is of such a grand or standard would bring about positivity to the economy. Definitely it's negative. The last, from the last figures we had yesterday from the Minister of Trade and Investment, we lost about 500 billion in the last 10 days. As far as cash flow is concerned, money circulation, businesses, deals and trading activities, because we have an economy that was in total shambles, stuck in one place, no movement, nothing was happening, and there was like a scaremongering everywhere. Even some states that never really had a protest, they didn't come out. Even some states in the southeast that already were in their own kind of issues, like the every Monday stay at home. They didn't participate, but everybody was just scared, and there was silent concurrence or agreement to the entire issue. So economically, it's in the negative already, and thank God we are out of the protest right now. So let's see how the economy will recover fast. Losing 500 billion in a period like this, where we are trying to rejig the economy from stagnation to gradual growth, it's not a good thing. It's not a good omen. But the issue is, what was the essence of the protest? What was the clamor all about? It was about ending bad governance. You know, what is bad governance? Governance started from the governance generally starts from the lowest or the most. It's very micro, but it's the most formidable and important part of our life, which is the family. You know, the family, the agent of socialization, peer groups, schools, and before you now talk of the political angle. The fulcrum of the issue is we have failed across the societal values. And the product of this poor societal orientation today have become politicians who this sway in the different political office, who this sway as appointees of government. And you expect them to give what they don't have. They are product of a fully valued society. You understand? So I think that is the long-term approach to ending the bad government or bad governance. But we're in a situation where the people are hungry, actually. So they need a quick fix. And we have a generation of anger. That's what I call them.
We need to talk about that angle to it. I mean, the issue of generation of anger, because he also said during the protest that there was going to be 10 days of rage, which again became very concerning. But we're taking a quick break now. When we return, we'll push that narrative a bit further. Do stay with us, everyone.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumai Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and a repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out. Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here. In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
I want to go further to congratulate you on being on DSTV 365. Yeah, channel 365 is an awesome thing. Congratulations, and I will enjoy each and every one to keep on watching Global TV.
This is Global TV. For your current affairs, for your current information, ideas, education, entertainment news at the best. Channel 365 on DSTV. You have just come alive into a new phenomenon in the media industry. Keep watching. Stay tuned.
Keep watching Global Television on DSTV channel 365 for your news and all national issues and international breaking news. Watch Global TV.
But by your name, you say global. So global is a big coverage. So you are taking a big name, but you are starting from from scratch. So that big name, by the grace of Almighty Allah, you achieve that. You will appreciate your activities, your reportage, and everything you are doing. Do it with the fear of Almighty God. Step by step, you'll be growing very, very globally. Get your things right and then report rightly. And then inshallah, sky will be your limit.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chung Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria! Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely. Can we not say that because that this country gets it right?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Juma and Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and they repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out. Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here. In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you?
Thank you, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So we're just going to continue the conversation from where we left it off a while ago. So you were talking about the angle of this protest that has to do with, first, the idea of ending bad governance and how the whole thing spiraled away from ending hunger and bad governance and what have you. So let's talk about those 10 days and the outcome.
The outcome, for me, if I have to make an assessment after 10 days, I've really was the protest successful, because before the middle of the 10 days, it was already hijacked. You know, this is where the real question, the real issues are. It's not about what they want. What they want is what I want. It's what everybody wants. But the question is the process. How do you engage?
Was there a problem with the process?
Absolutely. How do you engage? For whom are you doing this for? At the end of the day, you allow people, you allow the government to now begin to think or feel or see that this was actually being done for somebody else, not for the real masses. You understand my point? A protest is not supposed to be faceless. That's why when the process is there, there must be a leader of a protest. This is activism, this is advocacy. There are leadership in advocacy and activism. You understand? You don't have pockets of so-called leaders of protest who are not even available. The likes of the other man was talking from US that is going to be ordering them or directly from through the computers and through the media. Where you are
this is 2024. What do you expect?
You know, even at 2024, the people that
technology, like we'll say.
Yeah, technology does not mean you should not be involved directly. You don't run away. You were here when the whole thing, when you were planning it. You know, if the government want to engage, who are they going to be? They should be engaging with who in particular. That is not even my issue. The issue again is the structure of Nigeria and bad governance in Nigeria. Nigeria is structured along 3 tiers of governments: the federal, states, and local governments. What level of government do you want bad governance to end?
I guess it's top to bottom.
No.
Federalism
is bottom to top. And I keep emphasizing it on programs in this station. The earlier we let Nigerians, these young minds, know that federalism, except Nigeria is not practicing federalism. If we say we are a federal republic of Nigeria, it's bottom to top. The federal government today is a landlord, is a tenant in Abuja. Aso Rock is tenant in Abuja, but no state government house is tenant in their state. The states have the power to own the land, but the federal government does not have the power to own the land, even in this FCT. That's why we have a pseudo-governor status in FCT. So when you are driving, when you want to end something, at what level? Let it all be encompassing. You understand? By the time you target it at a particular level of government, people not feel, or the person, people, some people will not feel that you are targeting, you are being political with it. If you say end bad governance, is bad governance not happening in Lagos State, Kwara State, Edo State, or any other state? We have 774 local governments. Are bad governance not happening today across almost 70% of them or 80% of them? But you say end bad governance, you are giving conditions and your terms and references You are giving it to the federal government. Can federal government end bad governance in the local government as Nigeria, as structured as Nigeria, constitutionally? The answer is no. If the federal government said, let's do this for states, does federal government have the constitutional power to drive its implementation? The answer is no. It's that same state that will determine how you want to implement any support from federal government. You understand? So if the implementation process from the state government is misplaced, is corrupted, so who is going to end the bad governance in that state? Is it the federal government? The hunger in the land, who is responsible? The responsibility is for the whole 210 million population. We are responsible for the hunger in the land. But we have people that we have voted to provide solution to the hunger. These people voted. Is it limited to the federal level of government? We voted in councillors at ward level. We voted in local government chairmen at local government level. We voted in House of Assembly member at state constituency level. We voted in House of Rep member at federal constituency level. We voted in senators at senatorial district level. We voted in governors at the state level. Before you even talk of the presidency. And all these people, paraphernalias of offices and public office holding, is stratified across the 3 tiers of government, from local government to federal. And all of them, they are involved in the resource management of Nigeria. Today, as propounded in the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal and Allocation Commission, almost 50%, almost half of the total revenue and asset of Nigeria reside in the states and local government. So how do you now expect the federal government to provide 100% solution to a problem that cut across 100% to the lowest level of government? And by constitution, the federal government does not have power to check. The only, federalism is so beautiful that if you understand it, you will actually know how to engage.
Is that what we're practicing?
At the federal
is that
level,
what we're practicing?
Of course. Yes, anyhow you look at it, because at the federal level there are arms of government that are made by law to check the federal government. At the state level, there are arms of government. We have the judiciary and the legislators, which is the Senate at the federal level. We have the judiciary again and the legislators, which is House of Assembly at the state level. We have the judiciary again and the legislator, which is the councillors at the local government, to check every excesses of the executive.
But are they functional though?
Exactly. So if we are saying end bad government, who is going to make it functional? And the constitution is built in a way that the federal government does not have the power to make the local government functional, to make the local government chairman do what he's supposed to do. Buhari does not have power to control, President Tinubu does not have power today to put a call through and tell a local government chairman in any part of Nigeria that you must do this and that. Because the roles and responsibility and functionality of the local government is in the residual list in the constitution. It's a constitutional provision. It's not a matter. It's not the words of policies of federal government. Do you understand? If the local government chairman take President Tinubu to court, he will win. Up to Supreme Court, because Supreme Court is not going to be interpreting the law based on sentiment. It will be interpreting the law based on the provision of the constitution. And the constitution spells out the functionality and roles of. So what the citizens really need to do, what we are actually lacking, is lack of social contract in the polity. Social contract is the contract ability to understand the contract that exists between the government and the governed. We are the governed. Begin to question, what is the role of my local government chairman? Carry your constitution or seek it. We have the smartphone. We're talking of technology. International Youth Day. The youth should begin to really utilize the options of technology positively in driving good governance. Good governance cannot happen without a proper social contract. Social contract entails the capacity for you to understand that contract, that agreement. You came to me for vote. You will do XYZ when I vote for you. Either as a local government chairman, as a state executive, as a councillor, as House of Assembly, or as a Senate. And I actually know, and I've checked, this is the role that you are going to play when you get there. And I carried my sovereignty, carried my legitimacy, and handed over to you, that you should rule over me. I gave you the power to rule over me. But when you now get there, if you are not doing it well, I should be able to question you. Why at this level you are supposed to do local roads? You are supposed to give us water. You are supposed to build maternity. This is not federal government responsibility. This is local government responsibility. You are supposed to give us health center, primary schools. Why are you not doing it as our local government chairman? But it's a situation where you don't understand what the person you voted for is supposed to do. You now expect the higher level of government. Is it not even a shame that the federal government is building health centers?
But do they have autonomy to function in that level? I think that's the question we should ask ourselves with all this tussle going up and down.
There's already a constitutional autonomy. If there is no autonomy, if there is autonomy for you to exist.
But is it functional? That's
what I'm saying. The question, any bad government should start from the masses questioning why the state are suppressing the local government. Not Tinubu. The federal government has done its best to even assist in that regard, because the constitution spell out the federal structure. If the constitution has fundamentally divided Nigeria into 3 tiers, then why are you stopping the lowest tiers? The essence of local government is to bring governance closer to the people.
All right, I have a question now regarding, let's look at the president's broadcast in quest of this particular protest. What's your genuine opinion of the broadcast?
Yeah,
did it drive home a point?
Yeah, beyond the broadcast, because the broadcast, as I've explained, can never provide solution to the 100% myriads of needs of Nigerians. What I expected, first of all, we have the ALGOL, Association of Local Government Chairmen of Nigeria. They have representative. They ought to have also addressed Nigeria because they are responsible partly for the problem of Nigeria. We have the NGF, Nigerian Governors Forum. Their representative, or some of them, supposed to also have spoken. You understand? Then the federal government, which headed by the president of Nigeria. So whatever Tinubu said in that broadcast was re-emphasizing and enacting his renewed hope agenda, letting you know where and where he is right now, where he started from, and the effort he's making as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at the federal level. As any other governor come out to say, this is where and where I am in my state, this is what we have done, Some of them, even because we now have a docile population who have excused unintentionally, you understand, or ignorantly, excused the 2 tiers of government from governance in Nigeria, which is state and local government has been excused. Because now the federal government has been bossed to a corner and blackmailed into taking responsibility for 100% of problem. And they don't have the constitutional, the financial, and all-round ability to provide solution to the 100% of problems. So Tinubu's speech was basically telling Nigerians that this is where I am, this is where I'm coming from, and this is what I have done so far. Give me little time. I asked for this job. Don't pity me. I've done this. I've made provision for the CNG buses. We have designed a robust social investment programs like the student loans.
But are they functional?
Of course.
But you know, the CNG buses were supposed to get that since 1st of May until now.
Some states are already working, like Lagos State, even Niger State have taken delivery. Most of you are in the media, which you always get updates, you know,
of course,
of what is going on. You understand? But the question is, are the states keen into these programs? For example, now the student loan. I was surprised that some states in the South till now, they have not even keen into, they are not even enlightened the universities in those states, especially state university, to take advantage of it.
So that the students can start making entries.
Of course. You understand? So is the federal government supposed to also do that? These are things you guys are not doing. And education belongs to the concurrent list, which means both the federal and the state government have equal functional powers and rights in driving education as a sector.
I need to ask you this really, because
we also have the youth enterprise program. We also there are a lot of incentive manufacturing that companies can have up to 1 billion to support local manufacturers. These manufacturing companies, they are abound in Nigeria. In all this, the economy belongs to the whole Nigeria. The man is driving Nigerian economy from the macro perspective. Macroeconomics is talking of aggregate demand and supply, where you have to now aggregate every other happening across the states. But what is it going to aggregate? The aggregate comes from the micro. Macro, micro. Micro is the rural economy. The rural economy is driven by the state government and local government. But a rural economy that is dead is putting pressure on the macroeconomics. Because what is it going to actually aggregate? If it's taming inflation and fixing exchange rate, who is driving the local economy in the village? Who is responsible for the SMEs? Who is responsible for driving critical infrastructure that are local, that are localized, that will not encourage? Who is driving agriculture?
But sorry, I need to bump in here for a second, if you don't mind. Right? So we have the states and say that the spike or the trigger was the removal of fuel subsidy as announced on the 29th of May last year by the president. So they think federal government made that move, announced, if you like, that policy position. All right. And as such, Nigeria is where it is today economically. And they take you back to the very early morning of May 29, 2023, telling you what the dollar was like, what the naira was like against the dollar, the price of petrol at filling station, and so on and so forth. I think those are the real triggers for this sort of attitude we're seeing. It's not so much about whether the states or the local governments, councils are doing their part.
These are things we are still talking about. Another opportunity to make some clarification. First subsidy belongs to, the decision of first subsidy is not limited to the federal government, but it's announced by the federal government. The removal is a decision from it's a critical economic.
But the president had even barely taken over office when he made that announcement.
Because it was not already in the budget for June. Tactically, the previous administration has already removed subsidy
and covered till the end of June.
That's what I'm saying. And we're talking on May. What is the difference between May 29 and 1st of June?
At least there was a 1 month period for the president to have done some consultation.
There was no. You could not postpone evil days. We have been postponing it for years. You know, I want to tell you the issue of the subsidy removal. The decision base is a collective responsibility of all stakeholders involved, including the state governors. It was not just because Tinubu announced it does not make it a federal government policy. It's a Nigerian economic policy, very critical Nigerian economic policy. Subsidy removal was already decided at the National Economic Council meeting. Who are the members and components of National Economic Council meeting? The 36 state government, the several local government representative, all former head of state, and even the president. So then when you remove the subsidy, the benefit from subsidies is the increase in revenues. And the increase in revenue, is it tied to the federal government? No. It has also affected the state. So states that we are receiving 3.5 billion, like Edo State, today they are receiving 11.5 billion,
by way of allocation.
In allocation because of subsidy removal, because of the savings from subsidy. Is the savings line follow with the federal government? No. Is the savings not trickling down? So what are you using it to do? To open up the economy, to create alternative. What is the essence of economics? Economics is a social science which studies human behavior as a relationship between S and scarce means with alternative uses. What are you using the gains from your economic decision to do? The gains. But you are blackmailing the federal government to be blamed for the subsidy removal. But the gains from subsidy, you collect it and keep quiet. This is where we still talk of social contracts. The populace need to know where the real problem lies.
Interesting. I'm sure Juma wants to ask a question or something. But let me just push you on something else while she is trying to put her thoughts together. As it stands today, for example, people are wondering if, as a country or as a people, we've learned any valuable lessons. If the federal government has had a reason to say, let's review our perspectives on some of these issues. Like I mentioned at the top of this conversation, Aruna, there's a political dimension to this narrative, no doubt about that. We've seen a number of polls. Some Polish nationals who have been arrested now by the DSS. And of course, the Polish authorities are saying, look, those guys were just exchange students. They were not there to protest.
Between the ages of 15 and 53. And the level of capacity utilization as far as productivity is concerned for this percentage group of youth is still below minimum. If you don't use that positively, the adverse effect will be now. At least they are the ones speaking. They are every now and then.
Okay, we're just going to take a quick break, everyone, so we can bring on our second discussion on the program this morning, which focuses on the oil and gas sector, and then look at what the most recent developments are and the implications they have for our nation and indeed the economy. We're back shortly. Stay with us, everyone. All right, so let's turn to the O&G sector, as they call it. That's oil and gas. So Aruna, again, we bring you to the front because as an economist and somebody who has a handle on all of these economic issues, you probably understand really what the issues are regarding the oil and gas industry as it is today. In 2018, for example, I knew people who were already very excited about what will happen ultimately by the time the Dangote refinery comes full stream.
Of the energy experts and the economy watcher said between Dangote's business interest and the Nigerian government. I purposely use the term Nigerian government because whatever happen, negative or positive, is going to affect the Nigerian state, not the federal government. You understand? We have a situation at hand like that I can term too simply. So depending on the prism you are viewing and your interest in the pot of soup to yourself, you know, until these two parties actually agreed and shift ground across the divide, that this, what we are talking about is about Nigeria. That is the pot of soup now. It's about Nigeria. You, Aliko Dangote and the Dangote Group, you are Nigeria. It is because of your highest level of patriotism that you could even imagine and fathom to develop one of the biggest single line refinery in the world in Nigeria, a more than $20 billion investment, gave licenses for people to come and build refineries and all that. Why didn't it work actually? Because most of these people realize that it is better for them to go import. It's more cost benefit. After doing your cost benefit analysis, you realize it's better for you to import fuel to Nigeria than to build refinery in Nigeria, considering the many factors. You understand? Especially the poor infrastructural position of Nigeria. It never worked. The liberalization policy was going down on Nigerians. Now, grey room for other private refineries. We have about 100,000 barrel capacity refinery ongoing in Akwa Ibom State, the one being undertaken by Boat Group 2. Different business interests are involved in the oil sector now. There's another one that is going to be using the facility of the LMA Petrochemical refinery in Port Harcourt too. Right. There's also about 100,000 capacity refinery. You know, in all this, it's no longer limited to Dangote. So if you want to use the Petroleum Industry Act provision to protect local players in the industry, it has to now go around. And the responsibility of making it go around lies with the regulators. And also, we are talking of having a healthy competition because the oil industry is liberalized. It's not monopolistic in nature. And in all this building of this small refinery around Dangote, you still have people who are just importers of fuel, who trade, practical businessmen. They don't own refinery. They sell fuel. They buy from anywhere.
Right.
The JVs, because in the same
that's the joint ventures.
Of course, because the same NNPC have joint ventures agreement with IOCs, International Oil Corporations, who operate in Nigeria. You don't own their asset. They own their asset. They bring their asset here to help you do tasks on the NNPC. I'm not here. I can never ever hold brief for NNPC only to what we are. I will not expressing for scarcity today. But I just have to put issues in the proper perspective of being having the first access to get local crude directly from NNPC instead of imported crude. But the question is, the quantity that can feed up Dangote is 600,000 barrels. And to meet up the JVs, the one we will say within the that can feed up Dangote is 600,000 barrels. And to meet up the JVs, the one we will say within the that can feed up Dangote is 600,000 barrels. And to meet up the JVs, the one we will say
within the OPEC quota requirement for Nigeria? Is it that can feed up Dangote 600,000 barrels? And to meet up the JVs, the one who will say within the OPEC quota requirement for Nigeria? Is it more that can feed up Dangote 600,000 barrels? And to meet up the JVs, the one who will say within the OPEC quota requirement for Nigeria? Is it much? By the time you remove what Dangote said he needs, if you want to meet it 100%, what is left for us to say? What is left for us to meet JVs? Remember, we also have some credit lines for like the Afrexim Bank, $3 billion.
The crude banks agreements
of course, we have to be giving them 90,000 barrels. How many? And what is our crude production rate today? Some notionally, some are saying it's about 1.7 million barrels per day. Notionally. In actual, some are saying 1.3 or even less than that.
That's what you even before you factor in oil theft.
Exactly. You know, so the thing NNPC is like they are between the devil and the deep blue sea. Since Dangote started, they have given Dangote about 35 cargoes of crude oil, and he has paid and acknowledged 23. He rejected 2 based on maybe pricing negotiation or whatever. You understand? And he has not received 9, but they have allocated about 35 cargoes of crude oil. Let's just make it fast. And in all this, they gave Dangote a discount of $1
for each barrel.
Yes, for each barrel, saving him from that alone, from that 35 allocation, 35 cargoes allocation alone, you are going to be saving Dangote about $30 million. And again, going further, they are not saying you are going to pay in naira. This is where the real cross of issue is. This is not about Dangote, as a regulator of the entire industry. We have the IPMAN. If the federal government is going to sell crude to you graciously for you to pay $1 because of the forex exchange differences, why are you not agreeing to sell the same petroleum product when you refine it to the IPMAN, to independent petroleum marketer, to depots operators? You understand?
Right.
Why are you not agree to sell to them in naira?
Were you worried? Juma needs to ask you a question, but I was just wondering. Let's hear from Juma.
I just wanted to ask, when he mentioned that buying the crude oil in naira, you know, the instruction that was given by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Dangote and also to other smaller refineries to buy the crude oil in naira. Yes. What is the economic development? What is how would it develop our country as
because
Nigeria?
You don't need to put pressure on forex. Before you need to go and source for forex. You understand? What if the forest is not available? As at yesterday, only Dangote Group as a company from I think 2 days ago, that Friday, the dollar release auction through the Dutch offshore system, retail Arodas, retail Dutch offshore system of the CBN. The dollars that were released for retailing, Dangote Group, the dollar need of Dangote Group, the one that was allocated to Dangote Group now, was only a day was about $100 and something million. You understand? So you can imagine if the crude is dollarized for him, where will he be sourcing? He will be because there is not much dollars to give you to pay for the crude. You understand? So it's saving you enough in naira. When you are buying in naira, it's driving productivity in the system, improving the real GDP. Because you don't need to empower another economy. For every dollar you buy with naira, you are empowering the foreign economy. You understand? So now you are empowering your own economy. You are doing exchange in naira here. So you are reducing the value of dollar by so doing indirectly. So the question, the real cross of the issue, they say IPMAN now they are complaining to the NNPC because NNPC is their regulator.
Right.
The Depot Owners Association of Nigeria, they are complaining to the NNPC, it's also their regulators. The modular refineries are with all sorts of responsibility to Obaseki, the refinery in Edo State. The refinery has been good, in good shape today, but they don't have access to crude. Because most of the crude they need to satisfy the big player
first.
Are these other people not businessmen? Their own investment is being tied down.
Were you worried, Aruna, when?
So, excuse me, sorry, let me finish. In that regard, and the same IPMA and the depot operators are saying, you also said to us in naira. and you are telling them to go and source for dollars to buy your local products. But when the raw material for your local production was graciously given to you in naira.
So good.
So the NNPC have to, because in the first meeting they had, he agreed with the depot operator that he was going to give to them in naira, especially when they started producing the diesel. That is the information we are having. But you shifted.
All right. So I
and they cannot play in that. And the NNPC need to come in because they are the regulators. They also need to, like, if they don't turn your hand, you will not deal. Just the way you politically turn the hand of the president or whoever, the federal government. You understand?
I don't want to drag us into the technicality of the NNPC itself. I mean, you and I know the NNPC got unbundled just a few years ago and all of that.
But they still remain the regulators, even when
right,
they're players.
Exactly. That's why I'm heading with this this conversation, Aruna, because some people are saying it is double standard and it is conflicting that you are the regulator and at the same time you're supposed to be in business because it is NNPC limited now. But I don't want to go into all of that. I want to ask you, how do
they are in business of selling crude?
Yes, we're going to get into that.
They also have the petroleum pricing, whatever.
They have the PPRA, they have the NUPRC. Exactly. But let's talk about the
DPRO. They also into the importation.
Right.
So how do you manage all of this together to have an heading competitive price, balancing price for the product?
Right.
Because if you want to go by the way that imagine the Dangote refinery is working and it's accounting for 70% of our petroleum and it's selling to the depot owners and IPMA at dollar price, their petroleum will be selling at 1,300.
The fight between, I use the fight again very carefully, between Dangote and the NNPC, for example, some people say it goes back to one thing in particular amongst others. They say, first, how do we explain that as of last year, the NNPC Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mele Kyari, had told Nigerians that the NNPCL had 20% stake in Dangote Refinery. By this year, just a few weeks ago, we're now told it's 7%. Help us make sense of that.
It was actually exposed by Dangote. And I think the same NNPC have tried to explain that...
do damage control, you mean?
You know, maybe do damage control because the 7%, the 20%, when I use notional, it means it's a nominal, it was not actually paid for.
All right.
If you want to hold a share in a company, you know, when a share is at nominal level, it's only allocated and not paid for. Allotted, rather, and not paid for. You know, so when it's not issued and fully paid, that is when it's recognized in the books. You understand? So the level of announcement was just a mere announcement. The one that is in the books is the 7%, which Nigerians have come to realize now. And NNPC on its own have also said they all have to realize that they also need to invest in other interests, including the gas, the liquefied gas industry. They cannot just put the 20% in Dangote. We have the LNG too that needs some investment.
So it's brilliant for us to diversify.
Of course, we have. There are other, like there are 2 refineries in Edo State. Do you know that federal government also have stake through NBD and Nigeria Content Development or whatever board have a stake in Dupont Engineering Refinery in Oriomon local government, not the one in Obaoka.
Right.
You understand? That is in Ologbo. There are 2 refineries in Edo State. So these are all investment of federal government. They have stake there too.
I don't know if Juma wants to ask a question.
I just wanted to ask that with all of these policies, how will it influence other investors of oil and gas?
Exactly. That is what the NNPC is trying to do, that if they give too much protectionism or too much protectionist approach to Dangote, it will seem as if they are killing the other people they encourage to come into the exactly. Like the modular refineries now, which of them are actually working? We have up to 9 finished or 7 between 7 and 9 well finished modular refineries in Nigeria, but they don't have access to crude.
Is that Dangote's fault?
No, that is what I'm saying. For you to, if you want to consume 70% of the crude, which one is going to be shared? I just explained the crude arrangement.
Right.
Until we improve, the NNPC is striving to get to that 2.something million barrels per day.
Do equitable distribution.
Exactly.
Okay.
Until we get to that level, we are now at 1.7 notional according to them. Let's hope it is true. And by the time we get to 2 million, 2.1 million, where we used to be, then there will be, that will have access to the quantity he actually needs. You understand? And the other modular refineries and the other private refineries coming up, because they all need that protectionist They all need to benefit from the Petroleum Industry Act, which said we should give our local players some protectionist mechanism or approach. You understand? So that is just the truth of the whole matter.
Let's as we wrap up now, right? There's this.
Sorry, let me explain to Nigerians again that one of the biggest challenges. Citing the 20 billion investment refinery in Lagos is not a bad idea for me. But right now, do you know that Dangote need to be using the very large, I think VLC, very large cargo to cargo crude. The crude to Dangote refinery is not piping. You understand? There's no investment.
So they have to use barges?
Of course. No, large, because it's not a small refinery. That's why I say very large. Cargo. You understand? That's what they use. You can imagine the cost of taking it. So imagine if those things were being piped. If there were pipeline connected to the Niger Delta, where the crude, allocated crude just flow through. Do you get my point?
Right.
But isn't that risky with all the vandalism that happens, that goes on?
That is where the NNPC and the federal government will come to play. You understand? Because we have piped have we not piped from Niger Delta to the north in this country? That's why we
and the facility is still existing today.
Of course. So there's need for huge investment. This is just the beginning, and Dangote should realize as NNPC is shifting ground, try to give him what they can give him now. You also look at the larger picture that he built a refinery in Nigeria, that the economies of scale from it is going to come not now. The real economy, because it's supply is going to cover the whole Africa and West Africa and South Africa majorly. So it's not about Nigeria markets. You understand?
All right.
If they're already saving $1 for you as a discount, you're already saving like 30 million from 30. By the time 35 cargo, by the time you allocated
in terms of the volume.
Exactly.
But let's wrap it up
so
now.
Just do with what
you have for now. And
augment from importation for now.
Right.
Count your minimal losses at steady stage. By the time everything is stable, you will get your gains.
Okay, so let's hope that Dangote will be able to scale later in terms of operations and output and all of that. But on the final note now, Aruna, Dangote himself has said very categorically that the cabal in the oil and gas industry is stronger than the one in drugs. Can you help us create a context for that in 2 minutes?
Yeah, he was not even limiting it to Nigeria. He said, if internationally.
But charity begins at home, right?
No, he said IOCs, the international oil companies. You can't rule that away. In his own other industry, other people call him a cabal too. Like in the cement industry.
Like a monopolist.
Of course, that is the cabal we are talking about. The vested interest. It cut across their interest in all this IOC, the Shell, the Chevron, the Mobil. You understand? And this is internationally owned company. Their interest in Nigeria is also for profit maximization because over the years, some of them have stayed Total Final they have stayed more than 40 years, 50 years. They've created that value first. Now they are maximizing their profit. The owners are actually in abroad too. So if is Nigeria going to take the risk of breaking the agreement, the Davis agreement, to please the needs of Dangote? So the NNPC now is in a quandary. How do you balance both sides? Let me give you small here. Let me meet these people. By the time we strive to improve on our production, we'll meet up with your capacity demand.
All right. I think that's where we'll leave it. Haruna Brahma, thank you for spending some part of your Monday morning with us on the program. We're taking a quick break, everyone. Well, we'll come back. The spotlight will be on the youth and issues around them. Juma and I will walk you through that as we draw the curtains of the program this morning. Do stay with us.
want to go further to congratulate you on being on DSTV 365. Yeah, channel 365 is an awesome thing. Congratulations, and I will enjoy each and every one to keep on watching Global TV.
This is Global TV. For your current affairs, for your current information, ideas, education, entertainment news at the best. Channel 365 on DSTV. You have just come alive into a new phenomenon in the media industry. Keep watching. Stay tuned.
Keep watching Global Television on DSTV channel 365 for your news and all national issues and international breaking news. Watch Global TV.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumain Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and they repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out. Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discuss. Mid Discuss is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
You're welcome back, and yes, it's Global Morning on Global Television, and we're going to talk quickly about International Youth Day. First of all, congratulations. This is National Youth Day. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as a youth.
As a youth.
The youth has several challenges.
A lot.
But also with those challenges come a lot of opportunities and promise. However, it depends on how we are able to, as it were, position ourselves.
Yes.
To rise up to the occasion.
Of course.
And change narrative in our little corners.
Very important.
Right.
And of course, the theme for International Youth Day is From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development. It's important because, you know, youths, they put a lot of energy when it comes to development of a country. Some youths who have actually put their energy into that. So it's important that as a youth, you stand up right and you do the needful. Like,
That's right.
Remember in the words of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he says the youths are the ones that have that, he says the youths are the ones that make waves when it comes to impact. Just like, look at the protests now. How many individuals did you see? The youths came out in their mass and all of that. So as a youth, you must put in that work. You must be relevant in whatever you are doing for sustainable development. It's very important.
You know, there's something that the Secretary General of the United Nations said, talking about Antonio Guterres, all right, about this particular commemoration. It says, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, that's the SDGs, requires a seismic shift, which can only happen if we empower young people and work with them as equals. You see, that's why there's a blow when you talk about the brackets for being a youth, all right? Just a while ago, our guest, Aruna, made an allusion to that when he said young people between ages 15 and 53 and so on and so forth. Some persons will tell you between 18 and 40 and so on. But I think we should not belabor the age bracket. Instead, the focus should be on how we empower young people, regardless of what their particular age is, all right? What opportunities do we expose them to? I mean, I said here one time about how that there was a particular research, I hope I lay my hands on it soon, that actually propounded that if you hand $1 million to a startup business headed by a young person, let's say 25 in Nigeria, and you hand the same $1 million to another 25-year-old person in China, all right, who is running a startup business, at that point when you hand them what business people call seed capital, the guy in China, whether in Beijing or Guangdong or wherever it is, already is 10 years ahead of the guy in Nigeria. Not because he's more brilliant, not because he's smarter, on account of the fact that his environment gives him what they call latitude, gives him a head start, which the guy in Nigeria unfortunately doesn't have. So creating those opportunities, empowering young people, giving them unfettered access to valuable resources, all right, within allowable, if you like, limits, is going to be very critical going into the future. We keep talking about the SDGs. I mean, that was the same way we talked about the MDGs. Now it's the SDGs. It's going to lapse in about 6 years. A time will come when we'll have to, 6 years' time, look at what we have achieved as a country. And we can't even have that conversation properly, whether now or in the future, without asking ourselves, quite frankly, what we have been able to do with, for, and through our youth.
Very important. And of course, International Youth Day is celebrated every 12th of August in every year to just give that impact on what the impact youths actually create in our society. Of course, this administration has given you that balance, that opportunity to come out in sectors. In
terms of appointments and all of that, initiatives as well.
Exactly. So with all of that said, well, like I said, congratulations again. It's International Youth Day. Make the best of it.
Thank you.
We have to, sustainable development is very, very important. And that's a wrap on the program Global Morning. Join us same time tomorrow. Hope we've been able to keep you well informed when it comes to the major happenings in our society and, of course, in Nigeria. And with that, we have to say have a beautiful morning. I am Jumai Manson, and my co-host who didn't bring cake for me.
I am Uyi Agumofwe. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
We struggled as a strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.